Well, Max, we'll see how he does tonight as we look at the tail of the tape for Williams and Lara. Obviously, the height advantage always in favor of the 29-year-old Williams, and the reach advantage as well, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. On our unofficial scales, Williams rehydrated to 170 pounds, Lara 160 pounds. Max, let's take a look at the divisional picture at 154 pounds.
Well, there you see the most well-known guy, Miguel Cotto, still has something left. Still winning fights. He has a fight scheduled against Antonio Margarito. We all know what happened in their first fight. Margarito won, was later found with loaded hand wraps. A lot of people suspect he may have had them for the Cotto fight. Alvarez, a big ticket seller in the division right now. Cintron lost tonight on points to the guy who drew with Lara Molina in Lara's last fight. One of the reasons they thought Lara was safe enough as an opponent for Williams to take tonight. Maybe he's not so safe, as Roy Jones pointed out earlier. And Cornelius Bundridge has a belt when he beat Corey Spinks last year in St. Louis.
And here is Landy Lara, who would like to get into high-profile fights, and this is the highest-profile fight of his career. He wants to keep it going. 8 first-round knockouts. He said, look, I didn't perform well in my last fight against Molina, but let's just leave it in the past. Can you really just leave it in the past, Roy?
Well, you have to leave it in the past. If you don't leave it in the past and bring it with you, and this is the good thing about this fight, both of these fighters have to leave something in the past. So tonight we'll find out who is the best at forgetting the last play, in this case, forgetting the last fight.
Now, Lara worked 8 weeks with his trainer, Ronnie Shields, but Shields is not here because he was in California in the corner of Kermit Cintron. That fight had already been signed before this one. Miguel Diaz, veteran corner man, is in. He's been consulted all throughout the training of what's going on, so they feel comfortable that that will not be an issue here this evening. And there is Paul Williams, the Punisher. Got that smile on his face. Max, you talked about him, being a simple guy. He got involved in real estate, generates a lot of income, started buying homes in his hometown of Augusta a couple of years ago, then got into apartment complexes, owns oceanfront property in Hilton Head. And he says, look, I got more than enough money. I want to be able to enjoy it and not get tempted to stick around until I'm 35, fighting for money, and then not be able to enjoy the money in retirement.
You know what I've loved about Paul Williams throughout his career so far, though? Still fights like he's broke. That's a nice thing. He does not fight like he's a guy with a lot of investments, even though he is. Bob, you mentioned Lara saying he wants to leave the Molina fight in the past. Well, what happens in subsequent fights makes a difference in terms of perception. Molina beating Cintron tonight makes that Lara fight look a lot different now. Maybe he drew with Molina because Molina's better than we thought.
All right, let's send it up to the ring and Joe Antonacci.
Boxing fans, at this time, I'd ask you to all please rise. As we honor 3 greats from the world of boxing who passed away recently by offering a moment of silence as well as a memorial 10 count. As a legendary Philadelphia boxing trainer, Bowie Fischer not only prepared his fighters for battle, he also prepared his own 8 children to succeed in their lives as well. Not only a great boxing trainer, but a dedicated family man of deep kindness, caring, and faith, Bowie Fischer will be sorely missed by all whose lives he touched. As a fighter, junior welterweight world champion Billy Costello put his name in the record books, while also putting Kingston, New York on the boxing map. He put on his first pair of boxing gloves at the advanced age of 19 and showed the world what a man who believes in himself, even when others don't, is capable of. After leaving the ring, he continued to be a caring father, became a respected boxing judge, and remained a true champion to all he knew him. And only days ago, boxing lost one of its great characters and great writers, George Kimball. After 25 years as a sports columnist for the Boston Herald, George retired in 2005, only to become one of boxing's greatest contemporary writers. George Kimball, husband, father, friend, author, and raconteur, helped us understand boxing from the inside out, and his honesty and integrity will be missed. We now pause for a moment of silence and remember three greats from the world of boxing: Bowie Fischer, Billy Costello, and George Kimball, with a memorial 10 count in their honor. Thank you. May they rest in peace. Boxing fans, we continue now as Goose and Tudor Promotions, in association with Golden Boy Promotions, Caesars Atlantic City, and Corona and Azad Watches, present 12 rounds of boxing in the junior middleweight division. Our judges overseeing this bout: Al Bennett, Don Gibbons, and Hilton Whitaker II. And our referee, Sammy Virouette. This is a WBC eliminator, and Dr. Ramon Garcia Septién is our WBC official in the ring. Introducing first in the blue corner, he comes to us tonight from Guantanamo, Cuba. He weighed in at 153 pounds, white trunks, gold trim. Professional record: 15 victories, no defeats. 1 draw and 10 wins by knockout. Please welcome El Oro de Guantanamo, Erislandi Lara. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He comes to us tonight from Aiken, South Carolina. He weighed in at 153 1/2 pounds. Wears orange stripes with white trim. Professional record: 39 victories, 2 defeats, 27 wins by knockout. Please welcome the former 2-time WBO junior middleweight champion of the world, Paul the Punisher Williams.
Chief seconds only.
Our referee, Sammy Virouette, has our fighters' final instructions.
Paul Williams. Okay, guys, I give you the instructions in your respective corners and dressing rooms. Okay, I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Fight hard, fight clean, touch him up. Good luck.
Good luck. What's Erislandi Lara got? What's Paul Williams got left? Lara has never competed at this level in the professional ranks. Paul Williams has never had to come back from a knockout loss.
And we're underway, round 1. And Williams comes out and within seconds throws his first punch. He is a man who throws punches in tremendous volume.
One thing about Paul, he don't care who you bring to the dance, he just stays ready to dance, and you gotta love that about him. He don't pick opponents, he don't care who you pick, whoever shows up is who he's ready to deal with.
Lara said he wants to check Williams' chin early to see how Williams has been affected by the knockout, if he's been affected by it. And we see here Lara staking out the middle of the ring in spite of Paul Williams' early pressure. Good left hand to the body from Lara.
And he touches the chin of Williams. And then he hooks with the right hand to the chin of Williams. And then they get tangled up and Williams gets tackled down.
Because of Williams' pressure and size, a lot of fighters get on their bicycle when Williams starts to come at them. Sergio Martinez stood his ground and threw some haymakers and knocked Williams out. And Lara thinks that may be the blueprint for beating Paul Williams.
Well, he definitely not going to outpunch him, that's for sure.
Lara, a two-time defector from Cuba, defected once, was arrested and sent back, was one of their top amateur fighters, but had a sense he wasn't going to be put on the 2008 Olympic team because of the previous attempt at defection. So 7 months before the 08 Olympics, he defected again via a motorboat from Cuba to Cancun, Mexico.
He's landed two beautiful left hands that Paul Williams has taken very well, but I don't like the fact that Paul is still getting hit with that big left hand.
Well, that's Sergio Martinez blueprint. There he goes, loading up on the left hand.
Okay, no más, all right? Let's go.
Beijing, as you pointed out, we were discussing it earlier, Bob, also not a place where Lara could have defected.
No. He wasn't going to have many sympathetic ears if he tried to defect there.
Right! I said.
320 amateur wins, 2005 world champion at 152 pounds, amateur world champion. One of the captains of the A team, of the Cuban team. Caution for hitting behind the head, but as he said, you know, 51 weeks in camp, win a couple medals, still doesn't put any money on the table for you.
Really good first round by Lara.
Let me tell you what's going on. You letting him get off first. That's what's going on, okay? And by you letting him get off first, he's able to make contact. You can't allow him to get off first. You act like you want to throw your jab, you act like you halfway don't want to throw it. You got to throw it, brother. You understand what I'm saying?
Show him you're right, and then cross him over, just like you crossed him before. He's got no more. He's got no more. You can see he's got no more. He doesn't want anything else. His legs are shaking.
Here you see Lara come in with that signature left hand behind his jab, right over the top, hit Paul Williams right on the button with a beautiful left hand, the same type of a shot that Martinez caught him with, but he wasn't in the act of throwing a punch himself then.
So a good round one for Lara.
Yeah, it was a good round one for Lara. The good thing about Paul, though, is he's about 10 pounds heavier than Lara, so he may take Lara's punch a little better than he took Martinez's punch also.
And Martinez has developed into quite a puncher. On the graphic earlier, we showed you the top junior middleweights. Sergey Zinzurek is one of them. Martinez also knocked Zinzurek out. Do you think we've seen the effects of the Martinez knockout, not just in terms of the blueprint, Roy, but in terms of the fact we heard George Peterson in Williams' corner say you're not punching first? Are those lingering effects of the Martinez knockout? He doesn't want to get countered?
Good left hand by Williams.
Now he's starting to punch first.
Yeah, he's punching first. You see a little bit of it on both sides. However, Paul don't care. Paul is not here to try to fix that mistake. And as you see, Lara knows he's not trying to fix it because Lara is throwing the same overhand left that Martinez hit him with. So Paul is not trying to fix the mistake. He's just going to work through it. He don't care.
Lara's got a real good boxing reach, meaning, you know, his jabbing reach for a short guy compared to Williams, it looks like to me.
300 and something fights, you know, you got to know that he's seen everything. So he's seen tall guys, short guys, quick guys, slow guys. He's seen them all. And like Paul's coach said, if Paul gets off first, then Paul wins the fight. If Paul doesn't get off first, then Lara is winning the fight.
After that draw to Carlos Molina, Lara said, you know, I had to look in the mirror. Yoel Casamayor showed what good hard work can do from a Cuban perspective. And Williams gets rocked back and hurt.
Lara's
Combination
really
from Lara.
Really planting his feet with these punches.
Break. Step back. Stay back.
And as you see, Paul coming even harder now than he was before he got caught with the shot.
First, Williams got to win this fight.
Holding.
He's losing it so far.
Watch out.
And then he's got to make people believe along the way that he can reverse the outcome of the second Martinez fight. So far, he's done neither.
Well, he hasn't changed anything, just like him in his corner said. They haven't changed anything. And if you don't change anything, then the same thing is going to work on you again.
Punch out.
Coming into this fight, though, Lara, known as a guy who throws 1 and 2 punches at a time. Williams 8 and 10. You figure that gives Paul a big advantage, but that hasn't happened so far.
Well, if it does give him a big advantage, it'll happen late in the fight anyway, because you expect that Lara won't be so busy, and the more the fight goes, if Paul can get to these early rounds, the more busier he will become.
Williams was short with that left. He's lucky that Lara missed the counter. End of round 2.
Deep breath. Give me mouthpiece. Paul, let me tell you what you're not doing. You're not putting no snaps, and you're not sending no feints. You got to do it. You got to
hold off on the holding. Okay.
You got to do that. You got to put snaps in those punches. You follow me? You got to send feints. Now he's trying to land one shot on you because you know why? Because you're not moving your head. You got to move.
Come on, let's finish. Let's get up. Get up before he does.
Right here you see Lara land a beautiful hook, straight left, then followed by a big jab, but the jab really caught Paul off balance and not really set to fight at that time. Had it been a right hook, it probably would have did much more damage.
So Williams embarks upon round number 3. Lara has done a very effective job through the first 2 rounds. Left hand from Lara. Williams misses with his combination. Lara covers up.
See, Paul is about to get even more busier now, and Lara's punches are not really having a lot of effect on Williams anymore with the big shots. He just hit him with 2 good straight overhand lefts, and they didn't have an effect on him.
Keep hitting them like that, they'll have an effect, though.
Later on, they would.
Punch out. Come on. Step back. Step back. Suéltalo.
And there's such a big size difference here. The 10 pounds are so apparent in their body styles.
Doesn't even look like the same weight class.
Exactly. Paul being 6'2" and 10 pounds heavier, it just looks like this guy's in a whole separate weight division.
Another straight left hand, though, by Lara that catches Williams.
See how a little defense, little head movement from Paul goes such a long way. He's a guy who fights in close in spite of his enormous size and reach. Most guys who fight that way have no choice, Roy. It seems as though Williams has the chance to be a better defensive fighter fighting from long range, and yet he chooses not to.
Yeah, he fights like he's 5'9", and that's not good. That's what allows these shorter guys to make contact with him. But if that's what you've been doing, like he said, it worked for him for 39 fights, and it only didn't work in 2 fights, why change it? So,
right, his attitude, and George Peterson, his trainer's attitude seems to be, do what we were doing, only harder if possible.
Hold it. Stop holding. Mira, stop your holding, okay, por favor, all right?
Roundhouse left from Lara.
If you're knocked out in your last fight by that punch, and that seems to be Lara's entire game plan, to land that punch, how are you still getting caught if you're Paul Williams with that punch?
well, like you said, he said in the meeting with you that they wasn't going to change anything. Not really smart call, I don't think, but he's not changing nothing. He's throwing just as many punches as he used to throw. He's the same Paul Williams, and he's not going to change for nobody. So what he's depending on here is most of the Cubans, they have a hard time adjusting because they fought 3 rounds for so long. This kid has 300 fights at 3 rounds. Going 12 rounds or 10 rounds is a whole lot different, and that's what Paul is depending on. He wasn't depending on not being caught with the left hand.
No punching.
In preparation for this fight, for the first time in his career, Lara did use a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, but you see he's starting to show fatigue already.
Well, he's starting to let Williams sort of chase him around the ring instead of standing his ground. And maybe that's already some fatigue at this pace.
Yes, it is.
August 27th marks the return of the Emmy Award-winning 24/7. This time around, our cameras will take you inside the lives of superstar Floyd Mayweather and vicious Victor Ortiz as they prepare for their upcoming welterweight showdown. And September 17th, HBO pay-per-view will bring you the live matchup between Mayweather and Ortiz, the most anticipated fight on the 2011 boxing calendar.
You understand what I'm saying?
Let's start throwing 3. Did you hear? Come on, click it up. This is the 4th. You're doing good.
But get that jab going. Okay?
And as we begin round number 4, let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob, I got a 3-0, 30-27, Landy Lara. You know, Bob, I got to tell you, he's got so much snap in that left hand, and Paul Williams can't see that left hand coming over the top for nothing. I mean, Lara's just punishing the Punisher with that left hand over the top. I guess Sammy Brio is going to warn Paul Williams for low blows, but be as it may, to get back to what I was saying, Landy Lara seems to be doing so much more damage with that left hand. He blinds Williams with the right jab, and then he whacks him with that straight left hand over the top.
So, sorry about that. Okay. Time in.
3-0, Lara.
We're in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Bob Papa, Roy Jones, Max Kellerman, HBO's Boxing After Dark, Paul Williams, and Landy Lara in round 4 of a scheduled 12-rounder. Lara, the Cuban, has done a very good job through the first 3 rounds, and one of the things that he's done, Roy, is he's done a better job with his jab as the smaller man than Williams. Williams only 11 of 80 according to CompuBox, 14%. Lara 14 of 55, 25%.
Yeah, but Paul fights like a short guy. He doesn't fight like a tall guy. So you don't expect that he would do so well with his jab. His jab is just something to get him going, not to land. He doesn't use it as a jab is used to keep range. Although he's 6'2", he don't care that he's 6'2". He fights like a midget.
With a 78-inch reach. You know, it is true. I agree with what you guys are saying. Paul Williams, over the last 2 rounds, has had much better frames than the first 2.
And the longer the fight goes, the better to get for Paul Williams. Because of the fact that, like I said, to me, the Cuban guys have to get used to going all these rounds. They've been having long careers of 3 rounds.
And pressure fighters, and Williams, though he's not built like one, is certainly a pressure fighter, tend to start slowly and start to really cook as the fight wears on.
And that's what's about to happen right now. He's really finna start cooking here.
But we're also not seeing the same kind of pressure from Williams that we've seen in the past. You know, with his punch output in the rounds. Although they've gone up in every round in totality, it doesn't feel like it's the same kind of pressure.
Well, once you feel he got knocked out, then he felt that same shot again tonight. He's been hit with that same shot several times. It has to play a part somewhat on his mind. In his mindset, somewhere he's thinking, somewhere I have to stop this punch.
Yeah. Peterson said, and Williams said, look, you can't stop the punch you don't see. The Martinez left hand, we didn't see it. There's no way to prepare for it. It looks like Williams should start preparing to see a left hand because, as Harold mentioned, it's like a blind spot for him.
Lara got hit with about 3 or 4 lefts as he was holding the right hand of Williams.
And Williams, I like that right hook he throws, Roy. It stands Lara up. He's done it a couple times tonight.
Because Lara is showing fatigue now. You see Lara holding, leaning on the ropes, trying to get a rest. Oh, good shot. And like we said, he's good at the 1-2, but he's not doing enough of it.
End of round number 4, better round for Williams. Well, earlier tonight, we kicked things off with a 122-pound title fight between Akifumi Shimoda of Japan, his first fight in the United States, taking on Rico Ramos of Los Angeles, 19-0 with 10 knockouts. Things kind of going in favor of Shimoda in the early parts of the fight, round number 5, a clash of heads opened up a cut on the right side of Ramos's eye.
Now listen.
And
Listen.
Ramos able to deal with it.
Listen.
And then in round number 7, Ramos was first, and he lands that left hand and knocks out Shimoda at 2:46 of round number 7 to win the 122-pound belt of Shimoda. And we take a look at the judges' scorecards. Through 6, all 3 judges had Shimoda ahead. George Hill had it 6 rounds to nothing, 5-1 on Barbara Perez and John Stewart's scorecards. So Ramos able to pull the knockout punch, turn the fight around, and win. Here, Paul Williams eats another left hand. He had a good round 4, but Roy, at the end of the round, he got caught again.
Yeah, I don't like how much he's getting caught with his left hand. It's not a good look for him. Although this guy's smaller, the guy's not following it up, but you still don't want to keep continually getting caught with the same punch.
He is getting hit very clean at the end of that last round and in this round so far. But I love what he's doing, Roy. When he has one hand held, he is whacking with the free hand paw, and it's not just to stay busy. He's going like he means it.
Yeah, he is a worker. We know that. We know that he will outwork any fighter in boxing right now today because he's going to average about 100 a round on a good day.
So, Roy, Williams said in the piece with Max when he went down to the camp, he's not going to change anything. But he's
guys, look at the knot. Excuse me, Bob. Look at the knot on the left side of Lara's head.
Yeah,
that's probably from a hit, but.
What does Williams have to do, Roy, to stop getting hit with these left hands?
Well, I mean, being as tall as he is and being an inside fighter is not really much he can do because he constantly makes himself available to the shot by fighting so close to the guys. He gives these guys the opportunity to land that shot because of how close he wants to fight. If he wasn't fighting that close and used his reach, they couldn't reach him to land that shot.
Guys, that knot looks like what Rockmont had against Evander Holyfield, where the fight had to be stopped.
Keep a look at that on the left side of the head of Lara. There have been some clashes of the heads. Williams works the body. Lara counters to the head. Williams blocked most of that hook. Lara misses with that left hand.
Now Williams' left eye is bleeding right into the eye from a cut. And Lara has a big baseball-sized lump on the left side of his head.
And they really trading some shots here now. Paul is starting to land some shots. He's still catching a lot of them, but he's landing some too at least.
Oh, that thing is ugly on Lara's head. Williams is throwing the right hook right at it.
Williams the one moving his hands in that clinch.
We said Lara was known for the 1-2-1-2, and he throws one big shot, then he doesn't throw anything else. So this is definitely very customary of him.
Lara not using his jab as much as he did earlier either. End of round 5.
Headbutt, huh? Headbutt. It's a headbutt, right? Yep, headbutt. That's pretty big. Win it. No, don't hurry.
There you see those guys come with the heads that clashed right away, right there. And that's probably what caused the big knot. It definitely is what caused the big knot on the side of Lara's head. And it probably also caused the cut on Paul Williams' eye.
That's great camera work where you could literally see the knot develop right after the headbutt.
Exactly. There it is coming right there. And you see Williams' eye right there. You see him squinch. So the headbutt definitely caught his eye as well.
And referee Sammy Virouette ruled that it was the clash of heads that caused that cut and that knot as we begin round number 6, scheduled for 12. No knockdown so far in the fight. Lara's fought a smart fight. Williams got off to a slow start, trying to pick the pace up a little bit. 97 punches thrown by Williams in the last round, his highest output so far in the fight.
Paul, let him go.
Good body shot by Lara.
Lara's not liking the Paul Williams body shots right now, though, I can promise you.
Paul better off on the inside, Roy, where he doesn't get that big looping overhand left that Lara's throwing, and he gets to do his thing.
Yeah, he's better off inside, but the problem is on his way inside. That's when the left hand usually gets landed, when he's on his way inside. Once he gets there, it's not a problem to him.
It's amazing a guy's 6'2",
that loves
78-inch reach, and Roy Jones saying he's better off on the inside.
That's just who he is. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but that's just who he is. Another fighter that fought like that was Michael Grant. Michael Grant was a tall, well-built heavyweight with great arms, great height.
Roy, if Michael Grant could fight like Paul Williams, he'd be heavyweight champion right now.
No, I don't know, though, because of his style of fighting. He fights like he's a short man. So I can't really promise you that he would be.
Lara with a left and then hooks with a right hand. But when Lara pushes him off and creates distance, Roy, that's when he has his best success.
It is. That's why I say it's safer for Paul on the inside. But Lara also, you see that mouth open, he's definitely showing signs of fatigue.
Lara's doing a pretty good job using his leverage as the shorter fighter to push Williams back at times.
Williams might have hurt him with a hook there. He said, good shot. Yeah, Lara's definitely getting tired. His left hand, overhand left, doesn't have nearly the steam on it that it had 2 or 3 rounds ago. But Paul keeps walking right into it.
Win, lose, or draw tonight. You think Paul Williams is making anyone think that he could reverse the outcome of the Martinez fight tonight?
No, getting hit with those many left hands actually tells us that he hasn't done the right things in preparation to make up for that loss.
No, because Martinez is just appreciably more powerful.
Much more powerful, much more bigger guy than this is.
And Lara's landed some clean lefts. End of the 6th.
Breathe deeply. Need a second win now. That's it. He's gone. His level is gone. You see him coming in, right?
I need back up from the clinch. He's going to throw that left hand. You got what I'm saying? That's the only thing you got to worry about, because that's what he's going to throw. I don't want you to be standing there. Move your head.
Can you see Paul Williams just over the night? This is the only thing that don't impress me. The left hand landed behind. The jab is landing over the top when he's trying to throw his left hand like he got caught. Over the top again behind the jab when him throwing that low left hand. And once again behind his punches, the straight left hand over the top. You can't keep getting caught with the same punch over and over and expect to beat the elite fighters like Sergio Martinez.
According to CompuBox in the last round, Williams threw a fight-high 108 punches, but he only landed 24 compared to Lara's 23 connects as we check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob, 58-56, 4 rounds to 2, Erislandy Lara. You know, Paul Williams outworks Lara by so many punches. It's unbelievable. But the truth of the matter is that Lara, when he comes over the top with that left hand, he just does more damage. I mean, he whacks Paul Williams. He hurts him with that left hand just about every time. I thought that Williams did enough in rounds 4 and 5 to win those 2 rounds. But then Lara came back with a nice round 6, landed that right hook and it's straight right over the top again. So 4-2, Erislandy Lara.
It's uncanny how easy Paul Williams is to hit with that left hand.
And it's not doing anything about it. This is what I don't understand. I mean,
what do you do? What do you do?
I mean, you got to do something different. Put your right hand up high or something. Don't get caught over and over with the same punch.
Yeah, I mean, you see him carry his right hand very low.
Yeah, you win in the fight. I mean, you win in that way. You win in most of your fights that way, I should say. Not this fight today, but he wins most of his fights that way on his accumulation of punches. But don't get caught with the same punch repeatedly. That's just not good boxing skills.
For the fight, according to CompuBox, Lara is at exactly 50% on his connected power shots, 101 of 202.
Now you imagine if that was Sergio Martinez.
Sergio Martinez, we're not in the 7th round right now.
You're exactly right.
I mean, he's not even taking anything off these shots, not riding them back. He's just getting hit flush with left hand after left hand.
Lara digs in with a right hook. Williams trying to fight his way out of the clinch. Lara holding with his right hand.
And maybe the hubris of Williams and his trainer, George Peterson, is that, hey, and out of 41 fights, 39 times his style's been enough. Yeah, but if Martinez shows everyone the blueprint, southpaw with an overhand left can tag Williams, and he does nothing to correct it, well, that's what people are going to use.
And he's steadily getting caught with it this round, over and over and over again.
Look how low the right hand is. He keeps the right hand by his waist paw with it.
And he's 6'8". I mean, a step back, something to get out the way of the left hand, please. Don't keep getting caught with the same punch. And by the way, Lara's corner has done a great job on that knot. You see it's gone down some. Oh, that hurt Paul.
Williams taking power shot after power shot from Arislandi Lara.
I said I didn't like the fight coming in. I still don't like the fight. I don't like how Paul is looking in the fight. To me, he's in a danger zone right now because he's getting caught too clear and too often.
July 19th, tune into the next installment of Real Sports for an up-close look at the original extreme sport, a 600-year-old race unlike any other in the world, the running of the bulls in Pamplona, Spain. And coming this summer, check out Derek Jeter 3K for an all-access pass into the life of Yankee superstar Derek Jeter during the stretch run for his pursuit of one of baseball's most significant milestones, 3,000 career hits. He against the Tampa Bay Rays, hit number 3,000, a home run. He went 5 for 5. Max, you made the comment, might be the most popular athlete in New York since Mickey Mantle.
I think he is. I think he's more popular than LT or Patrick Ewing or Darryl Strawberry or Don Mattingly or Thurman Munson or Reggie Jackson.
So looking forward to the show later this summer. Derek Jeter's pursuit of 3,000 hits.
Max, I got to give you credit. You said it, and it makes sense because, and we all know it, but if you chop on a tree long enough, eventually it's going to come down. He's been getting caught with his left hand so much that in the last round, we've finally seen his knees buckle from that overhand left.
I'll tell you how much Paul Williams is getting caught. Not only is he losing the fight, but I start to feel that this is a physically dangerous fight for Paul Williams.
That's what I just...
You know, the Martinez fight, he got knocked out in the second round. It was a back-and-forth fight, 2 rounds. That's not a dangerous knockout in the second round. But here we are in the 8th round, and he's getting caught all night long with big shots. This starts to get dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and this is the type of stuff that really takes a bad effect on your career late or once you do decide to retire. So I'm glad that he's retiring shortly if he's not going to go and make the adjustments to stop that left hand.
Kind of reminds me of the old Bill Parcells line when he was talking about older players, too. When you start talking and thinking about retiring, it means you've already retired.
He does look, well, let me ask you, Roy, does Paul Williams look like a shot fighter to you?
He doesn't look like a shot fighter because that was always Paul Williams. This was always his style. He's not shot. Oh, my goodness. But you can't continually get caught with shots like that.
And he is fighting a Cuban amateur sensation who, the only reason he got this fight and is such a big underdog is he's coming off a draw in a fight against an opponent, Molina, that people didn't think very highly of. Then Molina tonight has a monster upset by a wide margin over Kermit Cintron. Suddenly it's like, you know what, Molina might be pretty good. Lara's pretty damn good.
Molina is pretty good, by the way. I must add, I know Molina, and he's a very good fighter, and he's not a guy that you can take lightly. So when they said that's who he had a draw with, that didn't surprise me. However, to me, Paul Williams, people say that nobody wants to fight Paul anyway, and you could kind of expect that because of his height for this weight division. However, I still thought that this was a bad call.
Yeah, well, Lara also, from a crop of pretty talented amateur middleweights turned pro a couple years ago, looked like the most complete among them. Had some very good early career wins, and many think his career stagnated when he scored a bunch of first-round knockouts over overmatched opposition. They thought maybe he regressed a little. Tonight, he looks like the guy who people had very good things to say about when he turned pro.
I'm not going to say that much, but I will say that tonight he has the right opponent in front of him, and he has the proper game plan for that opponent. If he did more, this fight would be over with already. There's no way that a 154-pound top-notch fighter should be able to hit anybody this many times with your favorite, hardest supposedly punch, and don't get him out of there.
Roy, who at 154 would you say be the prohibitive favorite to beat Lara based on how he's looked so far?
No.
Deep breath. Deep breath. You all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Give him the water, give him the water. This is your chance. You hear? This is your chance. You see, the cat comes in. The cat gets in. Breathe deeply.
See that left hand? You don't want to do that. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, keep throwing your jab, and when you get an opportunity to work that body and come up to the head, you're not doing it.
Well, work the jab and move the head. Williams not doing any of that as we embark upon round number 9, scheduled for 12. Lara has been able to land 50% of his power shots in the fight. That left hand has been like radar to Paul Williams. And Lara has actually out-jabbed him. Although Williams has thrown 60 more jabs, Lara has landed 10 more, 33 of 118. All right, let's send it over to Max Kellerman, who's in the corner of Paul Williams with trainer George Peterson.
George, what do you see so far?
Well, what is happening is Paul is letting him get off first. What Paul should do is keep him in a situation where he get off first because the guy doesn't want to fight. If you notice, whenever you throw that left hand, and that's what he's trying to do, throw that left hand, which is good, but then he want to grab Paul, and then he want to hold him.
Sergio Martinez knocked Paul out in his last fight with an overhand left. Lara seems to be, we notice it, continually catching him with the overhand left. How do you advise Paul get away from that left hand?
Well, the correct thing to do is to step away from that left hand, but then you got to take that punch away from him. That punch you got to take away. What is he doing?
George, if Paul Williams loses this fight, we have him down on the card so far. Will you advise him to retire after this fight?
Well, it depends. The fight isn't over yet. I want to see the conclusion of the fight before I go make an assessment like that.
Thank you very much, George.
Well, you got to take away that left hand from Lara, but I'll ask the question again because George didn't necessarily give the answer either. How?
At 6'2", and coming straight down the pipe like that is no way. The only way to do that is to be a tall outside fighter who uses your height, uses your range, make him have to reach extra far to get to you with the left hand, then you take it away. Being this tall and coming right down the pipe, you're going to run into it all night long. And this is what's happening. He's this tall, but he's coming straight down the pipe, bringing himself to the left hand. The kid can't miss him.
The thing is, at welterweight, Carlos Quintana beat Paul Williams. Paul Williams knocked him out in one round. But now he's fighting at junior middle, and even though Williams is very tall, he's not a very thick guy, Roy. He's, light in the backside, shall we say. And everyone assumes, well, he's so big he should move up to the higher weight divisions because the little guys at welterweight aren't going to fight him anyway. But we see the difference between a Carlos Quintana beating him with a certain style and a Martinez beating him with a style, and Lara now imitating that at the heavier weights.
Oh, gosh.
They can hurt him.
Yeah. And then the one thing I would disagree with George Peterson, I don't think Lara is running. I think Lara is fighting an extremely intelligent fight, and he's making the fight happen the way it works best for him.
That's exactly right.
This is a guy who doesn't want to fight. I don't want to see Lara when he does want to fight.
Let's go. Smith. Listen, you see how you finish? That's how you fight. That's how you fight. Look for the 2, look for the 3, and use your legs. You win with your legs. You win with your legs. With your legs, we're winning the fight. You hear? Give him the water.
And look for him not to punch. Now you have set a pattern, and you know what you're going to do. You know you're going to stand back in front, and you're going to grab back. So what does he do? He step forward with his left hand, and he catches you every time. So, you know.
10. This is the 10th, but we need a fight, brother. Use your legs.
We're underway, round number 10. Paul Williams and Irislandi Lara. Let's check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. I've got an 88-83, 7 rounds to 2, Irislandi Lara. I mean, he just keeps whacking Paul with that overhand left hand. I mean, doing a lot of damage with the left, getting in occasional right jabs, right hooks, but mostly it's that left hand to Lara. You know, Paul is a busy guy. He's the aggressor, but he just doesn't do more damage in a round. I mean, he's bleeding from the mouth, and he just looks busted up. On the other hand, Lara looks like he doesn't have a mark on him. He just keeps walking forward, getting off with that real good left hand over the top, doing a lot more damage. 7-2, Irislandi Lara.
Lara's landing all of the punches that seem to make time stop for a second, that really register in your mind, that make you think, wow, Williams is really taking a beating. Almost all of those kinds of punches are landed by Lara.
Right. Well, I actually have it, 8-1 on my card. Yeah, it just seems like all the as you said, Max, the meaningful punches go to Lara.
Well, Harold, you say Lara doesn't have a mark. He got a pretty good-sized golf ball on the left side of his temple, so he does have a mark.
So that was from a clash of heads?
Although, yeah, it was from a clash of heads, but Williams been doing some work on it with the right hand since the clash of heads to make it a little worse.
This is where Williams has had his best success, is when he's fighting inside. When the fight's at distance, I know it's counterintuitive, where the guy that's 6'2" against the guy that's 5'9½", but when it's on the outside, it's clearly Lara.
Paul is making it so easy for Lara now. Lara's getting more confident. Anytime a guy can get ahead, even though he's fatigued, if he can get ahead in the fight, he can make himself coast for 2 or 3 rounds. And if Paul was putting pressure on to make it hard for him, he could probably tire this guy and beat him. But it's too late for that because the guy's gotten too confident, Lara. And now I don't think Paul's going to have a good chance of stopping him late in the fight.
Paul hasn't shown a lot of one-punch knockout power in his career, but at times he has. Not often, but here and there, he's been able to hurt and stop fighters with one punch. He knocked out Quintana in the first round, scored some knockdowns on one shot. Looks like he needs something like that to get back in this fight.
Of his 27 career knockouts, so only 2 have come past the 6th round in his career.
He landed 2 good uppercuts yesterday. That's a good way to start it. And I tell you what, it won't be because of the effort. I can tell you that much, because he gives it more effort than any fighter in the game.
Roll to the end of the 10th round. Hard night for Paul Williams. The Punisher has gotten punished.
Paul, you got to knock him out the way. He know that you're coming out, you can knock him out. So let me tell you what he's going to do. He's still going to try to knock you out because he find you easy to hit. Okay? Deep breath, you hear me? You got to knock him out the way. Now, how do you knock?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We gotta take it. This is ours. You fought tougher fights in Cuba, bastard. Come on, let's go, son. Get up. Come on, throw when you're on the inside.
Well, you heard George Peterson. They feel they need a knockout to win this fight. Lara, keeping it on the outside, has had tremendous success. Saw the CompuBox numbers, landing 50% of his power shots in this fight.
Peterson gave Williams a straight dope in the corner. You're going to have to knock him out. Williams said, I know. Peterson said he's still going to try and come out and knock you out because he's finding you easy to hit.
Hey, he just hurt Paul real bad.
Right there.
This fight is taking some real years off of Paul Williams' life.
This fight, I think there's a good probability that this is the last we see of Paul Williams in a boxing ring.
I hope it is, because he's taking a real killing here tonight. I wish his corner would stop him before he gets knocked out, because it's not safe for him. He's not about to win, and this kid is really teeing off on him now.
Yeah.
Those shots take a lot out of a guy's life, and people don't understand that don't really box. But this is the type of punishment that causes bad problems once a guy's done with this game.
Paul Williams, not yet 30. He'll turn 30 later this month. Saved all his money. He's made some very good money in his career. Wants to be able to enjoy his money, he said. Doesn't want to stay in the game to take a beating.
Guy that never takes a step back, and you saw him take a step back just a little while ago. And like I said, it's not because of the effort, because of his game. He is as game as they come. But sometimes people like him become a worse nightmare to his own self because he won't stop.
Right.
And we got to give credit to Ronnie Shields, the trainer for Lara, who's not here. He was with Kermit Cintron as Williams takes another big shot. And then the rest of the Lara team with Miguel Diaz stepping in, because he has fought a very smart fight here.
Roy, you getting nervous ringside watching this?
Yeah, I'm very nervous because I feel bad for Paul Williams, because he's not going to stop. He has that gameness about him that just won't allow him to give up or to give in to nothing. And you see him, he's really a beat, battered fighter right here. Never can I remember being in a situation like that. You don't want to see a fighter take this.
Do you think he's in imminent danger given the number of shots he's taken in this fight?
Yes, look at him. Every shot he's off balance. I mean, this is not good at all.
The kind of fight that you hear bad things about afterwards.
Exactly. This is not good for Paul Williams at all.
His face is a bloody mess.
He's invested his money wisely. He owns a lot of real estate holdings. He's got positive cash flow. Wants to fish and enjoy his two kids. Said it was only a couple more fights. It might be the last fight.
Maybe he knew more than we know. And Lundy's knot has swelling up on his head a little bit more now too. Lara.
He's just fighting smart though. Because when it's at distance, Roy, it's all Lara. This is the only time that Williams does anything is when it's close, inside.
White guy.
See, he wants nothing else. Your legs. You gotta move your legs. You're doing great. It's real easy. He's got no legs no more. Oh, forget about this, the win, second win. Forget about that. Come on.
How you doing, Paul? Good. Good. One more round, all right? All right. All right.
Last round, everybody's okay.
Okay. Deep breath. Okay.
Put your hands together. This is the 12th and final round.
Well, Paul Williams was knocked out in the second round in his last fight back in November by Sergio Martinez. Vowed that things would be different, but Erislandy Lara has hit Williams repeatedly with power shots and left hands, and has clearly, in a lot of ways, dominated this fight.
Williams, who's always been a warrior his entire career in spite of physical advantages that would indicate he wouldn't have to fight that way, is wearing the face of a warrior right now, bloodied and battered, but he's still coming.
He's still coming, but he's not coming with the same aggression that we used to see Paul Williams come with.
Meanwhile, Lara at 154 pounds, who's going to be really anxious to get in with him? I'm not saying he's the best fighter in the division, but Miguel Cotto, Sergey Zinzirek, Canelo Alvarez, Angulo, Bundridge. I don't see any of those guys as prohibitive favorites against Lara.
You know, and you showed that graphic of the division, and with Cintron losing decisively tonight to Carlos Molina, maybe the next time we do a 154-pound fight, Lara's picture makes your cut.
After this fight, and no way around that.
Maybe Molina's picture should make the cut.
Maybe those two should do it again.
That's exactly right.
Can Paul Williams land that punch that Rico Ramos landed in the 7th round against Shimoda when he was down in all 3 judges' cards and knocked him out with a left? It's his only shot. Instead, he takes another vicious.
And what's he do, Bob? He comes right after.
Even harder.
Even harder. After getting his head flown for 12 rounds, a vicious left hand coming off a 2nd round knockout on a shot like that comes back even harder. A lot of heart.
You can't ask for much more heart than this.
Well, he's been a warrior. He's a great kid.
Is this the final 40 seconds in the career of Paul Williams?
Maybe.
Still trying.
Just not on Lara's head doesn't look good either, though.
Williams keeps losing his trunks.
But Max said he was a little small on the backside earlier. So I guess it's kind of evident now.
And give all the credit in the world to Arislandi Lara, because he stuck with the game plan and was able to land those long lefts when he needed to, and he raises his hand in victory. A sort of half-hearted raise of the hand from Paul Williams, and the face tells the story.
Lara's right there with anyone in the 154-pound division, I think.
I told you, most of the Cuban fighters are.
The final round, Lara landed 13 of 30 power shots. Williams just 21% in the fight in the power category.
You're a bad mother, Paul. You're bad, baby. Bro, Paul. Big win! Big win!
Roy, just tremendous sort of discipline by Lara to stick with what was working. Just take a look at the judges. Al Bennett from New Jersey, 19 title fights. He had Hopkins' decision over Tarver. He had it for Hopkins in the fight. Donald Gibbons, no title fights, notable fights on the resume. And Hilton Whitaker from New Jersey, 7 title fights, had Judah's decision over Matisse. He had it for Judah, 114-113. You see Harold's scorecard, 117-111. He did give the last round to Williams, but he had it 9-3 in favor of Lara. Impressive performance by Arislandi Lara.
I asked him yesterday, did he think Paul Williams was making a mistake by accepting a fight against him? He said yes, he knew it. And I asked too, who allowed Paul to make this decision to take this guy? I thought it was not a great fight. For Paul Williams, that is.
Clash of heads open up the cut on the left eye for Williams. 39-2 coming into this fight. His 2 losses were to southpaws. It looks like loss number 3 is going to come to a southpaw as well. And he just got hit repeatedly with those left hands. Well, how did the judges have it scored? The man holding the scorecards, Joe Antonacci.
Boxing fans, after a 12-round war, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Al Bennett scores the bout 114 even. Judge Hilton Whitaker scores the bout 115-114, and Judge Don Gibbons scores the bout 116-114, both for your winner by majority decision. From Aiken, South Carolina, Paul the Punisher Williams.
Well, the boos tell the story here in Atlantic City. You know, they have all kinds of gaming tables. I didn't realize that they also had the shell game that you see on the street. Because, Roy, I don't know how in the world Paul Williams won a decision here.
Paul Williams didn't win a decision here, and this is what's wrong with boxing now. You know, this is one of our problems. We don't do athletes justice. I mean, if he won, he won. If he lost, he lost. Goodness sakes. I mean, how can you do this to a guy? This feels like Soul career all over again.
Let's take a look at the punch stats and total punches. Williams busy. Lara landed 24 more punches at 42%. And the power numbers, I mean, Lara landed at 49%. Pummeled Williams with left hands. And we take a look at the punch. Is landed to the body, 41 by Williams. To the head, Lara landed 183. I mean, it's just, it's a joke.
I mean, for real. For real.
Anybody watching that fight at home, I defy them to say that they thought Paul Williams thought he lost. Paul Williams' trainer said it from the 9th round on. You're going to have to knock this guy out. You're losing this fight. You saw at the end of the fight, Paul Williams raised his hand half-heartedly. He didn't think he won. Got the decision. He's with Max.
Congratulations, Paul, on yet another courageous performance. It was a courageous performance, but we heard in the corner your trainer, George Peterson, say you need a knockout to win heading into the 12th. You said, I know, indicating you both thought that you'd already lost the fight on the cards. How do you explain that decision?
That's motivation, you know what I'm saying? He said that to motivate me. You know what I'm saying? I know every time we get in there, you know what I'm saying, if I ain't performing like I normally perform at the top of my level, he'll say that, you know what I'm saying, this so I can pick it up. And as you can see when I came out, I started picking it up, keeping the pressure and stuff.
Do you believe you won that fight?
Of course I believe I won the fight. I know it was a close fight. I know Lara hit me with some nice shots and all that, but, you know, the judges, hey, you got to talk it up with the judges.
You and I talked at your training camp about how many fights you'd have left. You guys mentioned 2, maybe 3 fights. If you could get a Martinez rematch, or rubber match rather, that would be it for you. How many more fights do you have left?
I got me and Mr. Peterson inside on, but we definitely want Martinez, you know what I'm saying, before I go on out. You know, I think the fans want to see it. I know y'all want to see it, so why not?
Do you believe that tonight's performance is enough to convince the boxing public that you could reverse the outcome of a Martinez fight in a rubber match?
Of course, because they know I'm going to fight it to the end. You know what I'm saying? Lara hit me with some nice, good shots and stuff. And they saw us right back in there. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's what you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to duck for nobody. I'm not going to go down for nobody unless they put me down. But I'm going to be fighting to a whole 3 minutes the whole time.
No one would ever question your championship heart and courage and work ethic, Paul. But he seemed to continually catch you with the same kind of shot that Martinez caught you, an overhand left. You didn't seem to have an answer. Why was he able to hit you with that shot so easily?
Because, you know what I'm saying, I was being lazy in there, you know. I think if I would have picked it up even more, you know what I'm saying, being more fresher, you know what I'm saying, but I was just being lazy, but, you know, no excuses, you know what I'm saying. He was landing that punch, you know what I'm saying, so I take my hat off to him. He keep landing it.
So we're going to see Paul Williams again? No changes, just more of the same, but even harder.
You said it better than I can say it.
Congratulations, Paul, on a courageous performance. Now, let me bring in the guy who we at ringside thought won the fight by a wide margin, Erislandy Lara. Erislandy, tell us about the fight first.
Bueno, la pelea fue una pelea bastante buena, ya que no sé lo que pasó, los jueces le dieron la pelea a él. Yo tuve 8 semanas de entrenamiento bien, me preparé bien y yo me creí que gané la pelea, como lo hice.
It was a good fight. I don't know what the judges saw, but we did 8 weeks training camp, and we thought we won the fight. I don't know what the judges saw.
Was the Martinez fight a blueprint for your fight against Paul? If so, how?
Sí, la pelea de Martínez me sirvió mucho, porque así creé muchas cosas, pero bueno, ¿qué vas a hacer? Los jueces lo vieron, Dios sabe por qué hace las cosas. Yo lo único que quiero es decirle al pueblo de Atlantic City, a Miami, que yo quiero la revancha, que esto fue tremenda mierda y estoy más disgustado con esto.
The Martinez fight was a blueprint. It showed me a lot of things that I could do, but, you know, the judges saw what they saw. I can't explain it, but for the people of Miami, for the people of the U.S., I want a rematch, and I want to prove it.
It seems that the Martinez fight showed you to throw the left hand. Is that what happened? How were you able to hit him so easily with the left hand?
Bueno, eso fue lo que yo hice. Yo me practiqué mucho con mi entrenador, Ronnie Chi, que ahora no se encuentra conmigo porque tuvo otra pelea importante por allá. Pero bueno, me preparé bien, eso fue lo que yo hice, conecté los mejores golpes. Ya él que trabajó un poco, pero bueno, no me hizo ningún daño y yo todo el tiempo lo estuve dañando.
That's what we did with Ronnie Shields. We we practiced the left. We were trying to be first, and he wasn't here tonight because of another fight. But that's where we practiced in the gym and trying to be first.
Your plan is you'd like a rematch with Paul Williams?
Claro que quiero una revancha para demostrarle al pueblo y al mundo que yo soy mejor que Paul Williams.
Of course I want a rematch. I want to show the people, the world, that I'm better than Paul Williams.
Thank you, Arislandi, for an excellent performance in a fight that I consider a win for you. I think everyone who watches the fight will agree.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.
Bob.
All right, thank you very much, Max. Yeah, it's weird because it looked like he did a tremendous job. Harold Letterman, we all had it pretty much in Lara's favor. Your final thoughts on the scoring?
You know, Bob, when it boils down to it, I've said this many times, when you have a high-profile fight like this, you have to use the best judges you've got, and they didn't do that here in New Jersey tonight. They've got judges here who are household names, who we all know, and yet they brought in 3 judges with very little experience. One judge, his claim to fame was that he had Lucas Matisse losing to Zab Judah, and I thought that was a horrible decision. So, you know, as long as they keep using new judges in big high-profile fights, we're going to get a lot of bad decisions. They should have had their experienced people in there tonight. That's all there was to it. Lara clearly won that fight with that left hand over the top.
You know, and you can see the body language too, Roy. You know, the fighters walked by us heading back to the dressing room, and as Paul Williams walked by us, he didn't look like a guy that won the fight. Lara looks like the guy that won the fight. I think everybody that watched it thinks he won the fight. Paul Williams, I mean, he's going to keep fighting. He's coming off a win. You know he's not going to want a rematch against this guy. What happens to Paul Williams from here on in?
I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say, man. I mean, you feel kind of bitter because I know that feeling. You know, you give it all you got. He gave it all he got for 12 rounds, and they still give the fight to Paul Williams. Paul Williams doesn't even like that, and Paul Williams knows that he didn't win that decision. For Paul Williams, I hate to say it, but I think we've probably seen the best of Paul Williams. I don't see, unless he goes and gets another trainer or somebody to make him change and stop getting caught with that left like he got caught tonight repeatedly, we're going to see the end of it. If that was Sergio Martinez tonight, we'd be at the hospital now with Paul Williams. You cannot let a bona fide junior middleweight hit you consistently with a shot like that.
No question about it. If Lara had a little more pop in those left hands, this fight would have not even gone to the judges' scorecards. Max, your final thoughts on what we saw here this evening?
I thought Lara had some pop in that left hand. I think Paul Williams has a good chin. That stinks. I mean, listen, I've seen fights where people on one side of the ring all think one guy won, and on the other side of the ring think the other guy won. Here at Press Row, everyone thinks Lara won. Anywhere from 10 rounds to 2 to 8 rounds to 4. Seen fights on TV, Stevie Johnston versus Cesar Bazan, that I thought Stevie Johnston won in the rematch by a very wide margin. People ringside were telling me, no, it was close. Stevie won maybe 7-5. Unless this is one of those cases, and I don't think it was, this decision was indescribably bad. And Williams was also the beneficiary of an indescribably bad scorecard in his first fight with Sergio Martinez. Fight could have gone either way. Williams got the decision. Many, if not most, agree with the decision. But one judge, in a very close fight, gave Martinez something like 1 round, where I thought Martinez may have won 6 or 7 in that first fight. 1 round. This is an incompetent decision, in my opinion. I think the boxing world should properly recognize this as a win for Arislandi Lara and a loss for Paul Williams. I think Lara now should go forward and fight one of the other top fighters in the junior middleweight division if he can't secure a rematch. I think he proved tonight that he is in their class. And Paul Williams' future at this moment, I think, is in serious jeopardy.
Yeah, and it's a dangerous future, because if he wants Sergio Martinez again, and Martinez hits him with left hands like Lara hit him
Bob, we're
with.
sitting ringside thinking the fight should be stopped because Williams is going to get hurt. He won the decision.
Crazy. Well, one other note from tonight, Rico Ramos, who was trailing in his fight against Shimoda for the 122-pound belt, he was down in all three judges' scorecards, but he left nothing to doubt as he knocked out Shimoda in the 7th round. Well, there's a lot of great boxing still to come. Amir Khan and Zab Judah, 2 weeks from tonight, will square off in what should be a dynamic fight against a young and upcoming star and a guy who's got more lives than a cat.
The word world champion means a lot to me because when I was 8, when I started boxing, I always wanted to be a world champion. To be known as a world champion, coming from a place called Bolton in England, I think it's a big achievement.
Somebody labeled me back in the days the comeback kid. So far, that name's kind of stuck with me, the comeback kid. And for some reason, I haven't become 5-time champion of the world for nothing. So, you know, never let no man count you out. Only God is the only one that can say when it's over.
At this level, I don't really want to lose. If I want to become one of the best fighters in the world, pound for pound, I have to get through the likes of Zab Judah and other fighters who they put in front of me.
Yeah, I feel like I have more to lose than him, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there is no tomorrow for me. And the way I prepare myself is that to keep that thought pattern in my mind.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I really think Amir will overwhelm him with his speed and power, and I think he's going to be pound for pound the greatest fighter in the world sometime soon. But this is a good fight, no doubt about it. You know, Zab will exchange, he will fight. He's got a good corner, he's got an experienced corner behind him.
Hey, one thing about it, the best man gonna win this fight. And who I think is gonna be the best man, of course, my man, my fighter. Of course Zab gonna win, he has to. This is huge for him. He knows it. So this fight right here gonna put him right back on center stage and can nobody else duck it.
Yeah, I think the youth is going to beat the experienced guy, and we're here to take Zab out. I mean, there's no joke. I mean, he's a great fighter, but I think his time's up, really.
At the end of the day, you know, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, Amir Khan can look back when he's fighting one of the young guys and he can say, you know, hey, I learned my lesson back in 2011 fighting Zab Judah.
We are ready, okay? Capital R. There's nothing you can do to us.
That's July 23rd right here on HBO. Amir Khan versus Zab Judah, a big-time matchup in the talent-laden 140-pound division as two of the division's best square off with each other. Title belts are on the line. If you've missed any of tonight's telecast, you can catch it in its entirety at the dates and times listed below. And starting Monday, watch tonight's fight anytime, anywhere on HBO Go. The new streaming service available on your laptop, iPad, iPhone, and Android. Register now at hbogo.com. This Wednesday night, you don't want to miss the premiere of The Curious Case of Curt Flood, an outstanding HBO sports documentary which examines the life and career of former Major League Baseball player Curt Flood, whose fight for free agency forever changed professional sports. Coming up next on HBO, stay tuned for True Blood. So for our entire Boxing After Dark crew, I'm Bob Papa saying goodnight from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.